Shalom. Kol Halal Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai Bahasham Rakakadash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. The 144,000 and the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be among the heathen that look like those heathen, and the few wakwaf that are listening and learning. To you, I say shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you with another lesson in truth. And I'm holding Genesis 49 and 19, and it reads, Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. And the reason I read that, because there's been a string of church burnings in Canada, dozens of them. So dozens meaning multiple. So that's at least 24 or more. All right. Dozens of them. So at least 24 or more. So right. Because it didn't say one. It didn't say a dozen. It said dozens plural. All right. So I'm going to play a short clip of this Gadite whose bloodline has been tainted, by these Edomites. All right, which is why his complexion looks the way it does. But and he kind of talks about it. All right, and he kind of goes in on the Catholic Church, which was a huge institution and played a huge role in the destruction of our people, in the whitewashing of the Bible, in the whitewashing of the Israelites, and also in just all out racism by casting that pushing that false image and that false narrative of the Lord, the angels, and the people of the Lord. All right, that they were actually pale when the Bible clearly describes them all as being melanated, But without any further ado, fair use, fair use. All right. So yeah, I'm not. Matter of fact, let me just read it, because this is from CBC News, all right, the National, all right. But let me just grab it, because it's not an American news. So you're supposed to be able to use news clips, but being that this is of a foreign entity, let me find it real quick and just read it. Let's pretty sure it's there toward the bottom. Slovakia. Phone is tripping right now. Because what I found is sometimes these phones delete or they upload images in your phone to the cloud automatically. Then you can't retrieve them. I think that's what happened with what I'm looking for. Because what I did was I just screenshot the Fair Use Act so I could just read it at will, and where it normally is, it's not there. And this has happened to me before. The code for the Fair Use Act, and I'm trying to find it desperately, but we just gonna roll with it, because it's not where I know it normally is. This is usually where I go to find it in my phone, and it is not popping up, and the clock is ticking. So well, here we go.
All natives were forced to go to church. Colonization, right?
We're on a journey to the scene of a crime. I'm with Clarence Louis, the law.
The name Clarence, all right, that's an old school name. All right, you don't find too many people that's under 50 years old with that name. All right. right? But and actually, it's actually pronounced Clarence. It's a French name. It's pronounced Clarence. That's the true pronunciation of the name Clarence. And it means king by the river. All right. So I thought that was an interesting tidbit of information I would share. But the name Clarence means king by the river.
Longtime chief of the Osoyoos Indian Band. He's been down this road in BC southern Okanagan many times, as the history of the Catholic Church here weighs heavily on him.
I mean, I'm pissed at the church. I got no respect for the church. That cross has done so much damage. I mean, caused so much grief and killed so many people, not just Native people.
There's something he wants to
Yeah,
show.
not just Native people, you know. You'd have to ask yourself, where are the Tasmanians? All right. The Catholic Church is guilty of the death of hundreds of millions of people, all right, around the world. And more importantly, of the Israelites. Okay? And let me just fast forward it, because what they're going to do is go to what's the remaining of a church. All right? But as a matter of fact, you do this. Yeah, we'll leave that as our screensaver. All right? Showing you all these churches that are being burned. And they're definitely being burned by Gadites. That's who's doing this up in Canada. So the prophecies are starting to come to pass, because it clearly says that at the end Gad would overcome. So you can expect, as the turmoil and the dissidents, the insurrections approach, things are going to get worse and worse. So with that, we're going to go to TikTok, and I'm going to I'm going. Damn, this just okay. How about? Okay, shut up. It really aggravates me when you turn on TikTok and just stop playing shit. It don't give you a chance to push something. You turn it on, it just stop, you know? But, yeah, there's a couple videos that I want to play, because it's a wrap on Esau Edom. They're exposed. The world knows that they're not the Israelites. Even the heathens know it, all right? And they're showing themselves that they're unfit to rule, and that they literally are getting sloppy. They're so sloppy now with their order ab chaos. It's beyond obvious that they're trying to do so. And you know, and people see it, and people are angry, and people are ready to go against what's this one about? And people are ready to go against their governments. Oh, okay. That guy. Okay, I'm just trying to figure out what that was. Oh, yeah. So, I'm going to play this video right here. These three. Okay, now I know what I'm doing. Okay, so let's start with this video here.
Biden and any federal agents that's down with this are fucking morons. New story in, guys. Biden administration asks the Supreme Court.
You know, as this shirt said, make the hood great again. So, you know, this is a guy that's trying to stand behind the Constitution. Problem is that the Constitution don't stand for you, all right? When the Constitution and all those good things that are written in it, that actually would be a very good thing if it actually applied to everyone, if it actually lived out its creed. But what you have to understand, when all those things were wrote, his people were in slavery. His people were being beaten, raped, robbed, and forced to work against their will. And if they open their mouth or even hinted at speaking the way he's speaking now, they got put to death. All right, because he's in a very rebellious spirit, thinking that he can build a house behind the enemy lines of his enemy and live comfortably. That's the stupidity of him. All right, as he's boldly coming against the powers that be. So he's in the right spirit, but yet he's foolish, because he's probably clicked off the Israelite videos, and you can see by all the locks and the dreads that he's got in his head, the dreadlocks, what his mindset is. All right. This is a guy that really has no idea what's going on or what's about to happen to him, least he repent, cut them damn locks out his hair, and cleave on to Yahushua and his Hebrew heritage.
Border Patrol to cut or move razor wire at the Texas border. Let me read this, like, because I don't think people are really going to understand how goofy this gets. So let me read it. I promise you, I'm not trolling you. This is really what happened. The Biden administration on Tuesday asked the Supreme Court to allow federal Border Patrol agents to cut through or remove razor wire Texas installed on the U.S.-Mexico border as part of a contentious effort by the state to prevent illegal border crossings. You hear that? The case arose when the administration of Texas Governor Greg Abbott, a Republican, now they'll throw that in there, they're like, oh, he's a Republican, he's evil, installed the razor wire near the Rio Grande River at Eagle Pass, Texas, as part of an operation to address illegal immigration that has brought the state into conflict with the Biden administration. When Border Patrol agents cut through some of the razor wire, Texas sued, claiming the agents had trespassed and damaged state property. Shouts to Oskino. A federal judge declined to impose an injunction against the federal government, but the New Orleans-based 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals last month ruled in favor of Texas, saying agents could not cut or move the wire unless there was a medical emergency. So let me sum this up real quick. Texas, in an effort to stop people from unlawfully crossing into their state, and hence America, said, let's put up razor wire. Let's not just have open-ass holes everywhere, where anybody could just go through. The Department of Justice under this Biden administration is attempting to get federal agents to cut the razor wire, thus making it easy.
What you're seeing there is complete and total division. All right? Because he's pointing out how foolish, which he's right. On this matter, he's right. My disagreement with him is who he's protecting and and who he's not. All right. But on this matter, he's absolutely right and correct, and I have to agree with him. But the federal, all right, what they're doing here is beyond stupid. From a civilian, a civil point of view. All right. But in the bigger picture, they need and want this chaos. All right. And the federal and the states are going against the federal in this, and the states are actually right. But guess what? The states violate federal law every day, all day long, with their codes and statutes that they use in their particular states to supersede and get around the Constitution. The way that they come at you with taxes is one of the ways that they do it. The Title 4D child support and spousal support. All right. The way they enforce it, they enforce it illegally. All right, they enforce it fraudulently by going around superseding constitutional law. They wrote their statutes and their codes so they can get around constitutional law and do this. So I'm pointing it out to point out the fact that on a daily basis, the federal government is against the state governments. And a house divided cannot and will not stand. All right, and I'm gonna let him finish talking, and I'm gonna read a couple scriptures to try to, to spiritually connect what he's saying and what's happening to the scriptures, filter it. But here we go.
Here for unlawful immigration into America. Mind you, there's groups of so-called caravans all across southern borders streamlining into America. Now, as a person that believes in freedom, liberty, all of that, 100%, there is absolutely no way that you look at this scenario and do not see it as some sort of invasion. It's usually adult males. It's not like starving women and children trying to run away from oppression and tyranny. I understand the whole give me your poor, your tired, your huddled masses. But this ain't that. This ain't that. And I know some people going to say, well, Maj, you're a libertarian. Don't libertarians believe in open borders? No. Maybe you've ran into some that do. In reality, you cannot have, this is a cliche in a line, you can't have open borders in a welfare state. You just can't. That rent that you're paying first, last, and security to get to, and the same Department of Justice or the Biden administration, right, is going to make it easy for these people that came here that do not live in this country. all of that extra money and that job that you find it a little bit more difficult, and this is not to diss an ethnic group, but this does mean that that has an impact on our economy. That's the reality of the situation. Now, that's my personal view of the scenario, right? Liberty, free movement, we 100% should streamline the lawful immigration process into America. Some of the hardest working people I know come from Mexico, come from Guatemala, come from South American places, Haiti, Trinidad, Jamaica, European nations, because I don't want to make this only like a black and brown thing, right? There are hardworking people that want to come to America.
There's only brown and red. This guy is ruddy. He's reddish brown. All right. Brown with those red hues. All right. Ruddy had nothing to do with pale flesh. You know, that's a fabricated newspeak lie.
Do it lawfully and be a serious boon to our work ethic. So I want to be clear about that. But at the same time, Texas gets to defend its borders. They have the state right to do so. The federal government trying to overreach into the state of Texas because it happens to be on a border and say, make it easier for these people to unlawfully enter is not only a huge contradiction, it's unconstitutional. Now, some people will say, well, how is it unconstitutional? Well, one, specifically, immigration isn't tackled in that Constitution that way. Since it's not thoroughly enumerated in the Constitution, it's left up to the states. Texas, being one of those states, has the state right to defend its state borders. The fact that the federal government under this administration would attempt to actually make that more difficult for the great state of Texas is a clear-cut contradiction and goofy at all-time levels.
Satan
the
against
federal
Satan.
government is suing Texas because Texas wants to defend Texas borders.
That's crazy.
Even simpler, we have a sitting president and his administration attempting to get federal agents, border agents, to violate states' rights to justify unlawful entry into America. Any federal agent that is in alignment with that, and it's okay with that order, you are a moron similar to this sitting president, and you have violated any level of respect that any American should or could have for you. I'm just doing my job. The Nuremberg defense is no longer acceptable. The general public does not respect it, and it will not be tolerated. You are participating in criminal activity.
You hear that?
As it relates to letting people unlawfully into America that impacts our economy, our jobs, and our national security. It is criminal. You should be very afraid because the general public is about to make criminals very afraid again, and you cannot.
That's what his shirt says.
Attempt to hide behind that so-called federal badge. Go over to solutionaryuniversity.org. Register for classes on imminent threat. Register for classes on civics. This is a very basic civic conversation when we really tap into it. Tap into those classes so we can learn. The more educated and armed citizenry we have,
You hear that?
the less these goofballs on the federal agent level or even the federal government level will attempt to try to do these goofy things.
Well, state as well. All right.
Safe, be solutionary.
So that's that spirit of insurrection, and we're going to get to that. All right. Now I want to play. Actually, let me read Mark. All right. Because this guy's ready to pick up arms and fight against his own government, which that's actually in the Constitution. If the government is being because the power is supposed to be in the hand of the people, and it clearly isn't. All right. So a lot of these people that are in positions of power are actually committing treason. And according to the Constitution, when you're committing treasonous acts or you're going against the law of the land, you could actually be removed from office and jailed and put, not to mention that America is actually at war, and treason in the time of war is a death sentence. All right. Just remember that. So, a lot of these people that are in positions of power are committing treason all the time. And from the Biden administration on down, they're doing things, especially making a decision to bomb someone without going through the proper channels within the government, to start a war during the time of war. When are these people going to be held accountable? They don't follow their own laws. And that's what I mean. All right. when I say that a lot of these people are operating unlawfully within their own system. But this is Mark 3:23, and it reads, "And he called them unto him, and said unto them in parables, How can Satan cast out Satan? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, a house meaning a race, all right, the Edomites are divided against themselves. That house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself," Satan meaning adversary, all right? And what adversary? A human adversary. Adversary against the Lord. And who's the adversary against the Lord and the Lord's people? Well, the devil. Devil just simply means deceiver. All right, and the spiritual demon, or the spiritual angel, the angel Satan, all right, just as Yahushua, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, has a counterpart here on earth, the Israelites, Satan has a counterpart here on earth as well. They're the wicked. And the wicked happen to be the Edomites. And the Edomites happens to be the so-called Caucasian or self-proclaimed white race. It is what it is. And if Satan shall rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand but have an end. All right? Well, let's play this other video.
And any
All right, well, my man here, somebody about to croak news. Here we go.
And we back with another episode of the People by the Crook News. I'm not gonna keep y'all long at all. Just a few things I need to show y'all. Let's get it. Looks like the U.S. out here housing migrants, even though we have a bunch of homeless citizens. Damn near 700,000 of them. So it looks like Google has laid off hundreds of workers, and it looks like it's causing a little damage. The child care center has shut down also.
In Mountain View?
Would you look
Damn.
at that?
It's one of a very wealthy neighborhood in Northern California,
Go.
the Bay
New
Area.
Hampshire firefighters battle a large fire after multiple oil tankers go up in flames.
Wait, New Hampshire.
Attorney General Ayers
Hold on. Let me take that back.
Has shut down also.
All right. He said New Hampshire battles dozens of wildfires with some sort of chemical stuff went off. And guess what New Hampshire just did? So that's polluting the hell out of New Hampshire, because New Hampshire actually put into law, came against the chemtrails flying over their state, same as Texas did. And all of a sudden, they got chemical fires. So I guess they say, we're going to poison your air, your water, your food one way or another. All right? So let's play that again, because he said it so fast.
Would you look at that? That's interesting. 20,000 employees. Got to go. New Hampshire firefighters battle a large fire after multiple oil tankers go up in flames. So Maine Attorney General Aaron Frey signs letter urging ban on civilian use of 5.56 ammunition.
Now, you see that? Hold on. What did the guy just say in the last video about being armed and taking the classes? And all of a sudden there's a ban on 5.56 ammunition. This senator is proposing. Okay, let's go to Second Ezra. All right. 15 and 14. And this scripture comes out. There's somebody within the body of the Lord is reading the scripture right now. This scripture comes out every day because this is the time that we're in. 2 Ezra 15 and 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. The modern day sword being a gun. All right. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Sedition is when people go against their tyrannical governments. Basically, when the people feel like they're being misused, they're being done wrong, and you're ruling over them with tyrannically and not applying the law in your rulership. All right. For a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid, and the man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for the great tribulation. So utter chaos, death, gunfire, bombs, rape, robbery, murder, theft, all that is going to come. Because this insurrection is going to start, they think it's going to be a noble thing as it starts, but it's going to quickly turn into utter chaos because there's so many other small intricacies, because the left versus the right, the racial thing, the alphabet thing, all these things are going to clash. All right. Hey, so with that, I'm going to give all praises, all honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah, Kwadash, Kwam Yasharala, Shalom.